Hello, hello, hello. All right, so just a little disclaimer for today. Well, number one, it's going to be an amazing training. So this is day 4 for the Get Your Business Organized training. I have a special guest with me today, and actually a partner in crime, because we are going to be running the workshop while Scott actually has an orientation to do for one of our other programs. So I would like to introduce Charlize. She's actually our amazing copywriter, and she helps us out with lots of different things in our business. And she knows all about all the different programs that we have. So she is joining us, and we'll be sharing some input here and there and answering some questions as well. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, y'all.
Absolutely. And she'll also be helping me kind of man the waiting room. So as people join in, we're going to kind of hit the ground running today because we got a lot to cover. I mean, you guys know yesterday was a very jam-packed day. Tuesday was pretty jam-packed as well. But today we're really going to go through and kind of look at the high level view of everything that we've been doing. So again, it's going to be a really, really awesome training. So as we are bringing everyone in, can you guys actually post in the chat where you're coming in from, where you're joining us from, and just say hello. And then what I'm going to do is, if you just give me one moment. Let's see. So the other thing I wanted to answer as well is a couple people were asking where to find the replay links, and for people who joined late, because we still have people who actually are just joining and registering for the event, after Monday, of course. The replay link is the same for all the videos. They all get added in that one replay page. So if you guys, haven't watched day 1, you want to go back, maybe watch day 1 or 2 again, definitely check out that replay page, which we are emailing out to everyone. The other thing as well is in the Facebook group, in the guide section, we have the copy of the workbook for everyone, as well as some FAQs and just general information as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the slides and we can dive right in. All right, let's see. Okay. And if everyone can just give me a thumbs up, let me know if you guys can see my screen. Perfect. All right. So what I'm going to do is I actually hide the video panel. This is so that when you guys do watch the replay that you are able to see the slides and, we're not in the way. So I'm actually going to click to hide the video panel. All right. Perfect. Okie dokie. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right into the slides. So again, guys, we are on day 4 in the Get Your Business Organized training. So again, if you have not already, make sure that you guys have the workbook, right? There's a newer workbook that has a complete assessment that you guys can actually complete. You don't even need to print it out anymore. I made it so that you can edit it and save it right on your desktop. And again, the whole purpose of this workshop this week is that you guys are taking the time to actually map out all the different things that need to get done in your business, how you can go through and do the assessment, and you can find out those little bottlenecks and things like that that you need to work with. Okay. So this is day 4, right? We've already covered some of the basics. Yesterday, we talked a lot about project management. So it was a very in-depth training. So if you guys did not watch that, make sure that you watch yesterday's training. It was a good one. I also wanted to give a huge shout out. Right at the end of the training today, I'll be announcing a couple homework winners, but you guys did a fantastic job on your homework last night. I saw a lot of people created their first Trello board, or some people who have already been using Trello actually shared some of theirs. So it was absolutely phenomenal. And so for anyone who has a question where to get the workbook, your workbook is actually, it's emailed every day, and it's also available in the Facebook guides section. And if you guys still need a copy of the workbook and you're not able to get those, Charlize, can you share our support email? It's going to be support@thetimetogrowth.com. So Charlize is going to type that in the chat. Again, that's support@thetimetogrowth.com.
Serving me, and the assistant is surly and resentful.
See. All right. Okay. Yeah. If you guys can just make sure to mute yourself, And when you're coming in, that would be wonderful. All right. So let's go ahead and dive in. Again, I'll be kind of looking at the chat sporadically. So if you've got questions, remember tomorrow we are spending a good portion of time on questions. So we also will answer them in the Facebook group. So you guys can also ask them there as well. So today is all about mapping out your dream business. Now, before we even get to the point of where we are even talking about the business that we want to create, I really wanted to pump the brakes and pull back and look at the big picture of what entrepreneurship, right, and running your own business actually looks like. Okay. And I talk about this all the time, whether it's my current clients, whether it's people who are kind of going through, the changes of growing their business. But it really always happens within like 3 stages. Okay. So the stages of entrepreneurship all start with the startup stage. And then we move to the growth stage. And then we move to the scaling stage. Right. And I know a lot of us, right, are on this, in this workshop, we're at all different places in our business. In fact, I think someone on Monday said that they've had their business for over 20 years, so I know that all of you, right, are coming in at different stages and in different places. One thing that I want you to keep in mind is with the startup stage, and anytime that you're starting something new, right, that's a time that's usually exciting, right? We're super excited and we're like, yes, we've got this amazing business. But there's a lot of challenging things, right? Your focus is on launching the business, getting a foundation in place, establishing the basics. As the sole owner and operator of the business, you're responsible for everything, right? So there's a lot to it. Now, also within that startup stage, one of the biggest hurdles is the learning curve. Right? You've got to learn a lot of things. So as you're getting started, you're simultaneously trying to learn things, but you're also trying to make money and you're trying to get your message out there. You're trying to grow your email list. You're trying to do a lot of things. So you as the entrepreneur might have a great idea, but sometimes when you get started, right, and it's very common, you don't have the knowledge or experience to bring it to market. This can lead to a lack of clarity about the direction of the business and the steps needed to achieve success. Now, that's not the only challenge in the startup stage. The other challenge is shiny object syndrome. Okay. And I want you guys to share in the chat, does anyone here know what shiny object syndrome is or has maybe had that happen to them in their life? So if you want to share in the chat, if you guys have had or experienced shiny object syndrome. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of things being offered out there, right? We're getting distracted, right? Things keep popping up and we keep getting approached by different things. And, you'll jump on a call and someone will go, oh my gosh, we should collaborate on this thing. Okay. And it's like, there's so many things to knock you off course. And in fact, I love, there was a quote, I can't remember exactly who said it, but it said, you better be very clear and very focused on what it is that you want to do, because you will be challenged. You will be knocked off your path multiple times. Okay. So it is so, so important to remember that this is normal. What you're experiencing, this shiny object syndrome, all the different programs and softwares and things that you're inundated with is so normal. And it's really, huge in this stage of entrepreneurship and in all stages to put our foot down and make sure that we stay focused. In fact, Scott and I always call it, you got to get in the valley of focus. Right? You got to focus on the things that matter. All right. So lots of great comments in there. All right. So during the startup stage as well, right? So if we look at that revenue wise, revenue is often either $0 to $1,000 a month. Okay. And the revenue streams may include things like coaching, services, affiliate marketing, depending on what it is that you're doing. You might need to experiment with different revenue models to find out what works best. Okay. Again, as you're starting out, if you guys are a coach or a consultant or someone who works one-on-one with people, a lot of times and places where we start is delivering those one-on-one services. But over time, as you grow your business, you got to look to scaling, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about what that looks like as well. Now, to overcome a lot of these challenges in the startup stage, right, you need to be willing to learn and to adapt quickly. right? There's a book out there. It's called Who Moved My Cheese? I remember we had to read it whenever I was in a sales manager program. And I thought it was really funny because it talked about how humans don't want to change. Humans don't like change. And we've got to be open and willing to adapt. And, I'll be honest with you, right? With all the changes in AI and different programs that are out there and the way that technology is changing at such a rapid rate, right? There's a lot to learn and it can feel so overwhelming, but we have to be open to learning new and different things and not just stay still because that's how growth happens. Okay. So this might involve seeking out programs, mentors, networking with other entrepreneurs, right? Finding someone who has done the do before you have done it as well. Okay. It's important to stay focused on the business's core mission and avoid getting distracted by new opportunities that may not align with your strategy. Okay. So if anyone is in this stage right now, I want you guys to think about, right? This whole workshop, this whole week is about being organized, staying on track, and being on top of your business. Okay. So we've got to put that framework and we've got to protect ourselves. Now, I want to go through, okay, so also in the startup stage, you got to be comfortable wearing all the different hats and managing different aspects. Again, we always talk about, right, the three core functions of business: sales and marketing, operations and financial. So as the business grows, right, you're going to begin to delegate some of these responsibilities. But in the beginning, it's normal for you to take on a lot of this yourself. Okay. So a lot of people are in this mode. Now, some milestones as you're in this, stage is launching your business, right? Getting it out there into the world, actually sharing what it is that you do, forming your foundations, right? This is the majority of what we're talking about this week. And guys, we could be forming foundations for our business 5 years after we've even started our business. In fact, people do it at all different stages, but it's so incredibly important to have those foundational processes and systems. And then the third milestone is to stay focused. It's amazing if you can stay focused and honed in and not knocked off your track, and stay working towards your goals, you're going to be successful, and it really, really takes a lot of work. Now, the next is growing your email list. Right. So we always, in fact, I love tangible numbers. I think a great goal, if you haven't started building your email list, is to just write a simple goal. It could be starting with 100, but getting it from 500 to 1,000 subscribers is a great first milestone in that startup stage. Getting consistent subscribers daily, creating a tripwire or an offer, a small little offer. Now, that's all fine and good, right? That's the stuff if you're in your startup. Now, the next stage that we talk about is the growth stage. And the growth stage is an exciting time because you've got the business going, right? It's generating some revenue. And now that you've already earned your first $1,000, and we'll say $1,000 a month, right? You got the ball rolling and you've already created and launched your first product or your service. You're still usually, right, running things in your business. You're the operator, but now you're kind of thinking, all right, well, maybe I need some help, maybe outsourcing some of these little tasks that I have in my business. One of the other challenges is learning how to sell or launch products and services. Okay. And in fact, there's one thing I like to mention. When people are in the beginning stage, they're in that mode of like learning so many things that sometimes they forget that they have to be selling in their business. And I think a lot of you guys posted yesterday that you realize that you need to take a lot more time and time block out time in your schedule to actually grow your business. So I think that's a big realization that, yes, absolutely. Once we get clear and once we start, learning all these different things, we've got to open up and make sure that we are effectively marketing and selling and generating consistent revenue. Okay. And a lot of times it's a little mindset block, right? There's a little thing that we've got to overcome and we've got to actually wrap our arms around it. This might require, you to invest time and resources in learning about sales and marketing, that works in your industry. Another challenge during this growth phase is navigating the feast or famine cycle. This is the tendency for revenue to fluctuate dramatically. So you could have periods of really high revenue followed by periods of low revenue, and it can make it difficult to plan and manage cash flow effectively, right? But there's different things that you can put into place with this. At this stage, revenue is often in the range of 1,000 to 3,000, and the revenue streams may include coaching services, affiliate marketing, signature course, group coaching, and courses. Again, I'm using the example of a coach here. The entrepreneur may need to experiment with different revenue models to find out what works best for their business and to achieve sustainable growth. Okay, so you might need to experiment, you might need to tweak a few things, but you are growing. So now when we talk about the, overcoming the challenges, you've got to continue focusing on that learning and growth. And then obviously making sure that you are staying up to date with the latest trends and being up to date on your sales skills. So one of the biggest hurdles in the growth stage is overcoming that resistance, right? The resistance of selling effectively. You got to push past the uncomfortable and be able to consistently sell to grow in your business. And this often requires a mindset shift from startup, which is knowledge cramming, like I mentioned, to selling and sharing what it is that you do. So I want you guys to share in the chat just so I can get a kind of a feel of everyone who's on today. What stage of business are you in currently? Are you guys mostly in the startup stage? Are you guys in the growth stage, or are you in the scaling stage? So if you can share in the chat box, where you guys are at. Okay. And again, we're at all different stages. Okay. Got a lot in the startup, a lot in growth, some in scaling. Excellent. So while we're in this growth stage, keep in mind, right, it's critical, because all the things that you're doing within the startup and the growth stage, it's really laying the foundations for long-term success. We can't be throwing spaghetti, at a wall. We can't just be sitting at our computer every day and staring at it and going, like, where do I start? What do I do? Right? We want to focus on the things that actually drive our business forward. So we need to stay focused. We need to be focused on growth, strategic planning, all of these good things, right, for our business. Now, some big milestones that we're shooting for is earning your first 1,000 plus each month, right? Creating and launching your signature course, a group or hybrid program. You must get over the resistance and learn how to sell effectively, right? Creating a routine to grow your business. Earn a full-time income, right? That's the goal. We want to be making this business something that really works and is bringing in consistent income. You can also look to expand revenue streams and sell products via evergreen funnels, and you're ready to hire contract help, right? So those are some other milestones. Now, I'm going to go through, again, I know we have a few people in the scale stage, but I'm going to go through this stage, and I want you to keep in mind, right, because we're going to do a little exercise, because today is all about mapping out and planning out your dream business. I want you guys thinking about, just to kind of plant the seed, I want you thinking about 5 years from now, if this business could be anything that you would like, right? And your business is successful. I want you guys to really think about what that looks like for your business. So the scaling stage is super critical as you start to grow and expand. And again, if you are a solopreneur and someone who is running the business by yourself, maybe you're starting your own agency and now you're having to take on new and different team members and you start to grow, you realize you're only one person. Now, revenue at this stage is typically between 5,000 to 30,000 a month. And the revenue streams could include membership sites, mastermind groups, speaking engagements, agency work, like I mentioned. In fact, you could have an agency that once you get rocking and rolling and you start hiring and onboarding team members, that agency can bring in as much money as you really, as much money as you plan out, as long as you have the team and the operations and systems in place to be able to onboard all your clients. Now, a challenge during the scaling phase is balancing business expenses, right? A lot of the financial things, right, in your business, and continuing to grow. As revenue streams expand, your expenses might expand, and it can be challenging to manage the cash flow effectively while continuing to invest in the growth of the business. To overcome these challenges, right, we need to continue to focus on streamlining and simplifying business processes. Okay. This could involve outsourcing projects and tasks, could be automating the selling of your products, could be putting in place more systems to manage the day-to-day operations. Okay, so scaling, it's a lot about foundations and operations. The entrepreneur may also need to shift into a more CEO-like role, delegating tasks and responsibilities to team members and focusing on a high-level strategy and growth. Okay, now during this stage, you might have to start making investments in marketing and advertising and growing your customer base, right? It could involve spending money on social media advertising, paid search advertising, other forms of promotion. And, overall, it's such a huge critical phase in the growth of your business because you're going to shift more from that hands-on solopreneur to a strategic leader. And by staying focused on the simplifying and streamlining processes, investing in the sales and marketing, maintaining a focus on the growth and strategy, you can overcome all the challenges and achieve long-term success. So I wanted to share with you guys just a quick story. And this is exactly, again, we're very transparent. It's one of our core values, but Scott and I, when we had started our business years ago, we started really figuring out, right, what are the different things that we need to do in phase one. So phase one, Scott had created his one-on-one coaching program, right, for his LinkedIn. He had, he wrote his book. He started doing some of the basic things, but again, it was still requiring him one-on-one all the time. So we hit kind of a plateau in our business where Scott could only be available for so much one-on-one. I was doing a lot of behind the scenes, some of the foundational operations for our business to keep it going. But we realized that was a dead end. We're like, okay, well, we can only do so many one-on-one calls. How are we going to scale this thing? So we invested in different programs. We had mentors. We, obviously involved ourselves in a lot of different things to learn what happens in the next stage of growing your business. And that next stage of growing our business outside of just ourselves, it all came down to the systems and the operations and the day-to-day things that we needed to do, along with creating the services and programs and products that weren't going to require us one-on-one all the time. And the one thing that we realized is by actually setting goals and building our business out in a much more organized way, right? The other day I called it the patchwork quilt. It set our business up for so much more success. Having those foundations in place, having clarity around our services and offers, having clarity around who we were marketing to, things became so much easier. And we decided, we're like, you know what? Let's start to set really fun goals for our business that give us more choice, more control, more fun. And so over the last 3 to 4 years, a couple of the big goals that we've been able to hit is we set a really lofty residual income goal, right? We're like, you know what? No more of this feast and famine cycle. We want to make X amount of money each month. And we hit it. Right? It's something that we were really, really working hard on, and we had to set that goal, and we were able to work backwards and figure out what we needed to do, and we hit it. Our goal for not last year, but the year before, was to have a 3-day work week. And people laugh, okay, because obviously we did the workshop yesterday, so I trained on my typical day off, but we actually take off Wednesdays and Fridays, and we only do things for our business that we absolutely want to, or, if we want to overflow and do some things on those days, we can. But it all started actually during COVID, whenever Scott's son, my stepson, had to do e-learning, right? He had to learn, and he was sitting down at his computer, and we're like, man, we cannot be working, on Wednesdays when we have him. And then obviously Fridays when we get him as well, it's like, we can't be working those days. So we said, let's go ahead and do this. Let's actually block out and let's commit to working 3 days a week. We've got this. And that's what we do. We have literally built our entire business around working 3 days a week. And you guys can do that too. I promise you, it is so incredibly possible. Okay. So what I want to share with you now is, okay, we looked at that whole big picture there, and I want you to think about the facts, right? And the facts are the difference between phase one and phase three and it usually takes years in people's businesses. It took us years because we had to learn, right? We had these gaps, we had these bottlenecks. We didn't have the foundations of our business built out. All the things in the business assessment that you guys took in the workbook, we didn't have all those in place. We were still, right? When we were in phase one, we were still kind of flying by the seat of our pants. So it took us years to start to get those things implemented, right? And that assessment, I actually built that assessment because I'm like, what are the core things that you need to have in your business to not only be set up for success in phase one, phase two, but also in phase three? So the facts are that if you have solid foundations in place, it can provide exponential growth, extreme clarity, confidence, and save years of spinning your tires. So I cannot stress this enough. Taking the time to really do this for your business, and it's the activities that we were talking again the other day, working on your business. It can be so impactful. And that's again why I love this workshop so much. And obviously all that we teach and train, and our foundations program that we're going to talk about a little bit. That's why this is something I'm so passionate about, because I know how helpful this can be, and the ROI on taking the time to just do these things that we're talking about can exponentially speed up the process for you and your business. Now, diving into today's topic a little bit deeper now, we want to talk about your business goals. All right. We want to talk about clarity around your vision, your mission, the product and services you provide. I know this sounds like such a silly, simple thing, but there was a time in our business where I actually looked at Scott and I'm like, what are we looking to grow here? Like, what's our big goal here? And we didn't really have clear direction on what that was. And so we actually sat back, and now something that we do every single year, we do a happening board. It's really funny. We'll do this probably again in January, but we go through and it's like a big vision board, and it's all the things that we want to happen in our business, in our personal life, in our life, with our friends. And we list out all our goals and what we're looking to achieve for the year. And we 100% put business goals on there, and we get very specific with it. Okay. We put monetary goals. So really quickly, what I want you guys to do, and I want you to share this in the chat, imagine, right, that you are 5 years from now and you're running your dream business and you have a dream life. I want you guys to think about, right, just take a minute to think about what that looks like. And as you guys are thinking about that, I just want to share this little story. So this was a question that I always used to ask in my brand strategy deep dives that I used to do with clients. And I was sitting down, and in fact, I share this in my book as well. I was sitting down with one of my clients, and she was an NLP coach. And she said, you know what, Nancy, I, really want to build this business. I want to, get a lot more one-on-one clients, and I want to do all this and this and that. Well, I challenged her. I said, well, look, if you were to fast forward 5 years out and you're just like running the business of your dreams, you're working the hours that you want to work, your involvement in your business is what you want it to be. What does that look like for you? And so she actually sat there and she thought about it. And she's like, you know what? I actually don't think I want to do one-on-one so much. I actually want to certify people so that they're able to do NLP, coaching, and that they're able to help other people, because my big vision is actually helping as many people as possible. So just kind of thinking on this, she thought about her action plan and what she actually wanted to start working on now. And she changed her entire trajectory of her business and what she was going to be doing just in that simple conversation. And it's really funny. I share that story as well, because guess who her first person was to certify to be an NLP coach? It's something that I was super passionate about and something that I wanted to learn to overcome limiting beliefs. And I was her first student. So I want you guys to really think about that. And I love that Andrea just shared in the chat, peace of mind, comfortable life, working smart, making more money while working less, spending time. 5 years from now, Kathy shares, being able to step away from the business, having things moving and grooving, being able to live wherever, travel. Claudia shares speaking on stages, nationally and internationally, corporations, companies, leadership communication, all kinds of wonderful things. So The other thing I always like to share as well is years ago, I was reading a book and it said, it kind of opened with, all human beings want the same things. We want health, wealth, peace, and abundance, right? We all want the same things: health, wealth, peace, and abundance. So I want you guys to really think about that business that you want to build that is going to give you that flexibility, that freedom. And I want to remind you that all of the things that you guys are thinking about, all the visions that you're having out there are completely possible. And if you guys are plugged in, you're having set systems and processes in your business, to actually achieve those things, you can absolutely do those. I want you guys to think through, how many days a week are you working? How many hours a day are you working? In fact, that's one thing that Scott and I are very passionate about, our schedule. I don't start work until 11 a.m. EST every day. I realized that I wanted time in the morning to work out, have breakfast, be able to take the dogs out, jump in the shower, get cleaned up, and then be at my computer comfortably at 11. What that has done for me and my anxiety, it's completely taken it away. I don't even have an alarm clock anymore. We wake up, we do the same thing every day, and I'm at my computer by 11. I'm not worried about rushing to get on a call at a certain time, but I want you guys thinking about what you want your ideal schedule to look like. Maybe you guys want to start earlier so you can get done earlier. Whatever that looks like for you, it is completely possible. What are you doing in your business? Right? You guys might not want to be doing so much hands-on. I took a Myers-Briggs test, and I took a bunch of tests actually, to get to know myself a little bit more in the last couple of years. And I took a one in particular, and I forget the one that it was called, but it was one that walks through how you work best. And I realized that I am not an implementer, right? I'm not someone who likes to do the tasks, meaning I don't like to create the things or deliver, services to people or products. I like to be involved in the delegating and the brainstorming side of things. So what do you guys like to do in your business? What fills you up? If you love to be part of the strategy, let's say, of brainstorming with companies, make sure that your services are geared towards those things. You don't want to, set your business up so that you are required now to have your hands in everything and you're having to deliver all these things if that's something that you don't like doing. Or if it's something that you can outsource, that'll be good. How are you helping people? So like I mentioned, right, I just want to know what that looks like for you. Again, you can continue to share in the chat, but I love what you guys are writing, right? Having residual income, having a team, being able to, run your business peacefully and, not overwhelming and being less stressed. So I want you now to also think about, and this was an exercise, full transparency behind the scenes with you guys. We joined a mastermind, Scott and I, this was years ago. And this was something that really helped, with our trajectory. And the exercise that coach did with us, because we only had one-on-one call with them. And they just said, what is that magic number? What is the amount of money that you'd like to make each year in your business? Okay. And it doesn't have to be $1 million, right? Contrary to popular belief, right? It does not have to be $1 million, right? I think a lot of people go to that number because they're like, oh, that sounds awesome. And that would be amazing. But that number for you and living a life of ease and happiness and comfort could look like $100,000. It could look like $60,000. It could look like $500,000, right? You got to think about that number that feels good to you. You know that you can build this business in a way that it's not going to require so much stress. And in fact, I bring this up as well because I was involved also in a program where they were really driving people to achieve $1 million a year. However, they were building these massive businesses very quickly that required a ton of overhead. So when we actually peek behind the scenes and Scott and I were thinking about how we wanted to run our own business, we realized that the majority of these businesses that were hitting or achieving $1 million a year were only profiting maybe 250 or 200 which is awesome, but that's a lot of expenses. That's a lot of overhead. If things go bad, you're firing a lot of people. You're not able to keep that up. So it does not have to be $1 million business. And it does not be a business that you don't have to start a business that has huge, huge overhead. So what does your financial situation look like? How much money are you making each year? How much money are you making each month? Getting clear on your financial goals are huge. And I always go back to it. Again, give yourself permission, give yourself the grace to build a small and mighty business. You don't need to be running a multi-million-dollar operation to build the life of your dreams. Again, having a business where you're earning income and doing what you love that allows you to actually purchase real estate, invest your money in other places, taking the trips, doing the vacations, having that, financial flexibility can be huge, and it doesn't require that $1 million business. So how much money do you want to make each year? What amount would make any money stress disappear? So these are the things that I want you guys thinking. You can jot down on a piece of paper. It's going to be part of your homework, right? Because your homework is going to be to map out your one-page business plan. But it's really important that you focus on how much you would like to make, right? That's kind of like the framework where everything starts. Now, once you realize and understand how much money that you'd like to make each month, then the second step is really listing out the products and services and how many you'll need to sell of each in order to hit your financial goals, right? We want to actually be realistic about this. So just like Scott and I, always talk about, we like to have tangible, action. We like people to have tangible, value in what we deliver. So I want to share a little behind the scenes, some of these things and what they look like, or they might look like for your business. Okay. So how many warm leads does your business need? Right? How many sales calls do you need to set up? So I use the example, and in fact, this is a one-on-one coaching. We can say one-on-one coaching or consulting example. So let's say if my goal starting out was to do $5,000 a month and my one-on-one coaching was $500, per session, I would need to close 10 clients each month. Okay. So you can see, just breaking it down in that way, it's clear, right? It's a clear goal. It's a tangible number. I know what I'm looking at. Now, if your conversion rate for your sales was 20%, that means for every 5 sales call that you have, every 5 sales calls, you should have a sale, right? And that's, again, after you get in the groove and you're moving and grooving, you're able to get on the phone with qualified leads, all that good stuff, you should have a sale. So isn't that now a good goal to make sure that you have at least 5 sales calls set up, whether it's daily, whether it's weekly, to make sure that you are working towards achieving your goal? I know this sounds simple, but just knowing these basic things, what it takes to actually deliver the results and the financial expectations that you have, can be so, so super impactful. Now, this means, okay, yeah, and I'm not the best at math, so I'm kind of leaning on this slide here, but you need to set up at least 50 sales calls to hit your goal of 10 clients a month. Now, keep in mind, okay, so this breaks down to be about 3 sales calls a day. Again, you guys could pack a little bit more into one day if you want to have specific days blocked out. This is just giving the example. Again, you could charge more for your one-on-one coaching, you could charge less, but we want to be realistic for what that looks like. So the only way that we can change this is to either improve your conversion rate, get clients results, and eventually raise your rates, right? Because your time is the most valuable thing that you have. So obviously that's going to be the most, probably the most expensive of your services. Offering additional services or adjusting your numbers. Okay. So that is what you have to look at whenever it comes to achieving those financial goals. Now, let's say you're launching a course or a program. For every 1 sale that you have, multiply it by 10 for the number of leads that you need to have. Okay, so I give this example, right? So if you want to close 30 people into a program, let's say you have like a membership or maybe it's like a signature course. If you want to close at least 30 people, your goal is to get at least 300 people registered for your workshop or your launch event or your email list, things like that, right? So again, I'm just giving you a little behind the scenes of what this could look like as far as setting goals that you need to have if you're trying to achieve certain results. Okay. So even for Scott and I, right, we think about our workshops, we want to get so many people signed up and registered, because there's absolutely always a conversion rate. It's a certain amount of people, versus who's attending and who's registered. To achieve your goals, you need to be doing daily, consistent action, right? You're either going to trade time or money to grow your business. But the fact is that it takes consistent action and clear goals. Okay. So if you guys can just type a Y or yes in the chat box if this is all making sense. Again, I know everyone has different, businesses, but I want you guys thinking a little bit more tangibly, okay, about the business, about the goals that we have, right? Everything can be worked backwards. In fact, I always use the example. There's Edgar Allan Poe was a writer, back in the day. It was actually one of my dad's favorites. And my dad shared this essay. It was the essay on the theory of composition. And in it, Edgar Allan Poe talks about writing stories backwards, right? Instead of writing the story like, oh, okay, step one, and then this happened, and then that, he said, actually think about the emotion and the ending and everything that you want to build up to. And then you work backwards from there when you're writing. Well, I feel like this so much applies to business as well, right? If we can reverse engineer everything, it's going to help us be a little bit more effective on all the things that we're doing. So let's say, as we're mapping out some of these different things in your business, some other goals that you guys could have, right, around your business growth could be, growing your followers, growing your email list. Okay. And a lot of people ask, well, how many emails, should I have, or how many contacts, should I have in my business? I thinking love, again, numbers and tangible things. And I was listening to an episode. It was an interview that Donald Miller, who's the writer of Marketing Made Simple and a lot of other amazing books that we love. But he was doing an interview with someone and they were asking questions and they said, well, what is a really great email contact amount, right? When can I feel really good about my email contact list and maybe even move to a different niche or a different audience from there? And Donald Miller said, you know what? He thought for a second, he goes, look, there's no exact number, but a really healthy, awesome number to shoot for is 7,500. Right? 7,500 emails. He goes, because at that point, you've got an email list of over 7,000 people, the conversion rates, the open rates, things like that, right? All those things that we can look at. With that number, you can pretty much generate a consistent income of sales. Okay. So I love that. And then whenever someone actually started asking questions, they were like, well, how long would that take me to do? And he goes, guys, it could take up to 3 years to grow, your list that big. You're either investing a lot of time, or you're maybe spending some money on ads. A jumpstart goal, right? So I know that everyone is starting from zero. Scott and I, guys, again, 2 years ago, we were not focusing on building our email list. I don't know what we were thinking. Again, we had to go back and do so much that we should have been doing from the start, right? Foundational things. But when we started intentionally focusing on building our email list and growing, in 1 year between Scott doing different speaking engagements, putting ourselves out there, doing joint ventures, growing our email list, sharing different things with people, we literally skyrocketed our email list from like nothing. Now it's over 5,000 and, it's continuing to grow. And in fact, we have 2 email lists. So combined, we have about 10,000 emails. We're not stopping there. We're going to continue to grow. It did not happen all at once, right? And I know someone just asked in the chat, Susan asked, how do you build an email list? There's lots of different things that you can do. In fact, there's very basic, tangible things, creating, free things that you can share with people and have them sign up for your email list, having a little bit of a sales funnel. You can do lots of different things, even a workshop. Think about this very workshop that you guys registered for. right? You put your email in to receive the replays, the workbooks, all those different things, right? So just by doing that, that grows your email list. Okay. So there's lots and lots of different things. So one thing that I want you guys to keep in mind, and a little exercise that you can do, is now that you kind of think through some of the different goals that you have, the financial, all those things, go back to the exercise in your workbook where you mapped out your quarters, right? That was where you were going through and you're writing down your different focuses. Update those little pieces of paper. And I said, guys, it's as simple as just taking a blank piece of printer paper and writing the month at the top. Okay. If you're going to be focusing on pitching a certain product or service, also write on there your financial goal, right? How much do you want to make that month? And what will that look like as far as how many, sales calls you'll need to have? How many, people do you need to have, sign up to be a part of a workshop or something like that? So you can start to work through some of those things. So this all brings me to, right, that 1-page business plan, right? That is the big thing for today, is I want to make sure that you guys really get intentional about what your business looks like. So in your workbook, you've got this 1-pager, right, which is mapping out your dream business. I want you guys thinking through, right, your vision, your mission, the products and services you provide, the basics, right? Who are you actually targeting? The problem you're solving, different marketing channels. So anyway, going through this and having this 1-pager, I highly recommend actually printing this out. If you have not printed the workbook, print it out and hang it up on your board, hang it up somewhere near your computer so that you can stay close to what this business actually looks like. Okay. Now, bringing everything together, right? Goals. In fact, I use this quote from James Clear, who wrote the book Atomic Habits, right? Really, really great book. In fact, we did this for our book club book, one of our other programs. But the quote is, goals are good for setting a direction, but systems are best for making progress. Okay. Systems are best for making a progress. We could set goals all day long. And you guys know, right? You've probably had a lot of goals in your lifetime. But if we don't create reoccurring systems and routines daily in our business and have that organization, we're not going to be successful, right? We're going to set the next goal and we're going to keep setting the next goal. We need to have those systems and processes in our business to keep it growing and going. So this brings me to, I told you guys we were going to talk a little bit about our Program Expert Foundations. So literally, I was racking my brain because we have always set out, we want to make our journey, what we went through, so much easier for other people who are also on this journey, right? I don't want you to spend years like it took us, building out the basic foundations, building out the operations, sales and marketing routines, all that. So I started trying to figure out this problem. I'm like, look, it's a problem. It needs to be solved. A lot of people that we're connected to need the basics. And I saw so many different other programs that were just offering super fluffy stuff. Okay. When I say super fluffy stuff, we're talking about, they had a lot of checklists. They had a lot of questions that you would write in a lot of workbooks, but there was no tangible action. There was nothing to plug and play quickly into my business. Like, for example, right in here in the business assessment, I ask, do you have an hourly rate? Right. So instead of, just asking that question and saying, okay, good luck, go figure it out. I wanted something where it's like, all right, no, like, show me what I actually have to do to figure out that, so that I can take that information. And now if I need to map out and price my services and, go through and create a value ladder of services, I can do it now. I think about the different questions. Do you have a client onboarding process in place? No. If you answered no, well, guess what? Right. I wanted the plug and play ability to plug a process into my business. Do you have a client intake form, so on and so forth? So what I ended up doing is I set out to solve this. So first I started with that assessment, right? I created with all the core functions of what every business requires, right? You guys went through operations, you went through sales and marketing, and you went through financial. Now I wanted to turn all the no's into yeses. Okay. So I literally was like, you know what? I want to build a program and have the tech, have the resources, have everything that people need that I always wish I had. Okay. And what I did is I actually partnered even with an instructional design expert. And as I mapped everything out, she looked at it and she said, holy cow, this is what I wish everyone always had, in all the different programs and everything that even she was a part of. She even told me, so if anyone's familiar with Marie Forleo B School, drop a Y or yes in the chat. So Marie Forleo has something called B School, which is, I think it breaks down to be like a 12-week program or something like that, which you get your access. And it kind of breaks out. It's got a lot of worksheets and things like that. Now, I've never been a part of it, but as this instructional design expert was sharing with me, she goes, Nancy, this is literally everything I wish B School was. It's everything that I wish, because it is plug and play. You give the resources, you give the tools, and literally everyone is walked through step by step how they can add all the different things into your business. So I started with the assessment. Then I created a Trello board. Okay. So you guys learned a little bit about Trello yesterday. So in our foundations program, which is what I'm talking about, I literally took step by step all the questions in that assessment, and I broke them down into individual trainings and templates and plug and play resources that you can quickly do and implement into your business. So this is a little sneak peek of the Trello board that everyone who's a part of Foundations gets access to. I built this out as a map, right? How many programs do you join and you're like, I have no idea what I'm building here. It is a place to keep everything all in one place, right? Figuring out all the answers in that assessment, building out all the different things. You guys don't have a service contract. Well, guess what? There's a template in there. You can whip one up and create it. I wanted to take the guesswork out of running an online business. Like, let's not make this complicated. It's a plug and play journey focusing on creating systems and routines around operations, sales and marketing, and financial. And it's so funny because in all the other programs that we have, I made it so much more fun than anything else that we have because I actually gamified it. So literally made it so that as you complete the trainings and as you go through the videos and as you download the resources like the email templates and the welcome guides and all the different things, you guys actually earn experience points. And not only earning experience points, we also have a little reminder that goes out. So if you haven't logged in a while, you get a little email and you get a text reminder if you set up your texts, and it reminds you to get back on track. And it goes through everything that you need to do to build out the foundations of your business. And so what it looks like, right? In fact, I set 3 big goals for this entire thing. And goal number 1 is mapping out your foundations, right? So it's actually getting them all mapped out. Goal number 2 is building out the operations, sales and marketing, and financial foundations of your business, right? So after you're done the program, you are literally able to mark these things as complete. And then goal number 3, because we want to set you up for success and long-term, future for scaling. Goal number 3 is to document procedures and experience consistent growth. And we have done it by literally giving you resources, telling you the exact programs and systems and different things that you need to do in your business in order to be successful. Here's a little sneak behind the sneak peek, right? As you go through the trainings. Now, the other thing that I really wanted to point out, right? So I talked about having the templates, the Trello boards, email copy, and more, right? Of course, that's all included in the actual program. But a lot of people just want to know what the heck they should be doing each day, to grow their business and things like that. So it literally is everything that's included, what tech you should be using, what processes you should have in place, how to get organized, how to generate consistent sales. In fact, we have a whole entire training, all around generating leads for your business. And Scott even does a little training on LinkedIn and what you should be doing each day. It's just amazing. So what most people wanted and what I set out to deliver is, okay, let's get the foundations in place for long-term growth. Let's make sure that everybody has step-by-step processes. templates and resources, routines and organization, plug and play results, a community, right? You guys get access to a community as well, and a proven system. Okay. So literally I built everything out, right? From social media content strategy. So actually getting that mapped out to hiring a team. I even have a little process where you can actually decide what you want to delegate with a list of tons of things that you can delegate. Okay. You can financial, right? So if you're ready for really going through and setting up all the things for financial, it has it all in there. So a lot of people ask, who is this for? Who does this make the most sense for? So last year, when we first did this workshop, I actually did a beta launch for this, and we welcomed about 30 people into the program. We had a mixture, guys, between health insurance brokers, network marketers, we had coaches, we had consultants, we had people who had agencies, we had people in all different backgrounds, but this program is a best fit for people who have service-based businesses, okay? So if you work one-on-one with clients and you are obviously taking on clients and you are working with them, this is going to be a great fit for your business. Now, the other challenge that I set out to answer with this program was, how can I do this in the shortest time possible? Because again, I know all of your time is super, super valuable. So I built out and I set the challenge for myself to combine everything that needs to be done, do it plug and play, and make it so that in 2 hours a week, that if you just block out 2 hours a week, and guys, it could be an hour on a, Monday and an hour on a Friday, or maybe 2 hours on Monday altogether, to actually go through the 4 different, modules each week and then learn and implement. Now, I topped that and made it even better, right? Because that's time that you should be working on your business. Technically, if you just did that, okay, in 6 months, all the no's from that business assessment are all yeses. You're clear, you're confident, and you're running your business. If you break that down, that is literally 48 hours. So 48 hours was my goal. I'm like, how can I build out the foundations, give everybody plug and play, and literally make this possible so that you can build this all out within 48 hours? And I did it. Okay, I did it. We had so many people, who have enjoyed it, who have literally given such amazing feedback, like, holy cow, these are short, these are streamlined, the trainings are simple, and it is so incredibly tangible. So I figured out how to do this and break this out for you guys in 48 hours. So the other thing, and the fact that we did this last year as a beta, I kept asking for feedback. So I said, guys, I was building it out last year so that the training wasn't all available all at once, right? People had to wait each month for 4 new trainings. Well, now that the trainings are all in there and they're all done, I asked them, I said, would you have rather had all the trainings released all at once? Would you guys want to have access so that you can hit the ground running? And let's say you're having a week of productivity and really crushing it and working on your business. Do you want to have access to all the trainings? And they said yes. So you can hit the ground running and you can go at your own pace as well. So if you want to get through all of this, you want to get everything implemented in the first month of access to this program, you can do that. Okay. And we've seen people do it. Literally, people have gone back and went, oh, I'm going to crush it this month. I blocked out a ton of time to get this added. Well, not even a ton of time, right? We said 48 hours for the entire thing. Now, a couple testimonials I grabbed, right? And again, I just am so thankful and grateful for our beta founding members last year. So they are already a part of this program. In fact, they're rejoining us for another year. We wanted to really give them high fives and welcome them in for, our official launch, which is happening now. In fact, we're opening the doors today and they'll be open until next Wednesday. But a couple of the testimonials that our group shared, one is, and I love hearing this, Expert Foundations made me feel in much better control of my business, right? So many tasks for businesses at every stage. This program helped me to understand and build a great foundation, right? We thought of a lot of different things. Now, I know I'm looking at the time. So I'm going to actually drop as well. So if you guys have to jump off, but you want to learn more about the program, which I'll keep kind of going through a little bit, you can check out the link for the Expert Foundations program. Another testimonial that Craig shared, in fact, he's one of our, health insurance brokers. he kept telling me, he said, Nancy, I love that you made everything either free or affordable, that is implemented in here. So all the different services, softwares, programs, things that I recommend, everything is free. So you're not spending a ton of additional money doing all the build out of your foundations. So again, think about taking that business assessment and turning it all into yeses, okay? Instead of, no, I don't have this in place yet. Literally, I walk through every single one, okay? So as far as an investment, again, we set up 2 different options for you guys. It's either paid in full, which you have access for the entire year. So even though, right, I said you can complete this thing in 48 hours, you can complete it in 6 months if you wanted to pace it out 2 hours a week, or you can take the whole entire year and you can just do it sporadically. That is the entire program paid in full for a year. Now, I get people who ask the question, well, why did you limit it to a year, right? Why is it only available for a year? We wanted to put a deadline in place. We wanted to put a little fire under you, okay? We wanted to make sure that you guys aren't just buying what we call shelf help. We don't want you just signing up for this program and letting it sit over there. We want you to have intention and take action. We're also launching this right now because we understand, right? We've got summer months coming up. You guys are going to be busy doing family things, vacation, whatnot. If you guys wanted to start actually implementing this in August or September, you have all the way until next year to do all the things. So you have plenty of time to map out the time that it takes to get these things done. So we've also made a monthly plan available. So you can do the $297 a month for, obviously the first down and then 5 months after that. So we have made a lot of different options for you guys. Now included, okay, in this as well are the tools you need in your business, right? I've created a huge list of the tools that are the most affordable, free, easy to use, that you can utilize for your business. Now, we are also created a list of tasks to outsource to a virtual assistant. Okay. So there's a ton of different things that you can do there. In fact, I use this resource myself. Every time I onboard a new person, I actually print out the thing that I created for this program to really get clear on what it is that I want to outsource. Pre-built Trello boards, right? So I have a Trello board that you actually unlock, right? They're bonuses and prizes as you complete different trainings. You can unlock a business hub, an offer creation board, a lead gen and sales process CRM board, delivering fulfillment, team management, operations, and more. The other bonus is, so we just recently added, because again, the feedback was, well, what if we have just questions and we want to ask it outside of the community or the group? You get 8 weeks of Voxer support, right? And this was actually recommended by Charlize because she was part of a program and she said it was so wonderful that she was able to ask some questions that popped up and get answers. That was a nice extra support. So Voxer is actually like a walkie-talkie type communication program that you can use. Now, you can do that for up to 8 weeks in the program as well. All the modules are broken out into the core processes of your business. So we build out a different one, which with each 4 modules each month, right? So again, you guys can blow through this in a month or 2 months and go through all of them, or you can pace it out. Now, as an early bird bonus today, and again, this is the first time that we're doing this as well, is if you sign up by end of day today, we will also include our launch Trello board. And I don't just mean, right, our basic launch Trello board, that's whatever. I'm literally giving you guys the behind the scenes of actually what we have done to set up our workshop and our launch. So literally, you guys, if you ever wanted to do something similar for yourselves, you can plug and play and do the same thing. So if you sign up again by end of day today, we'll call it midnight, you can receive our launch Trello board as well. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, I know we are pretty much out of time, so I'm going to really quick jump into the homework for tonight. So the homework for tonight, guys, is to, well, number 1, check out Expert Foundations. Again, Charlize dropped the link in the chat box. But for homework tonight as well, we want you to map out your dream business. Okay. So you want to go through, you want to map out the basics. And then once you are done, you want to share on the homework thread that you have completed your 1-page business plan. Okay. And we're going to talk through it a little bit more tomorrow. Now, again, since we were a little bit time constraint today, we squeezed a lot of information again into one day. Tomorrow, we will be doing Q&A. We're also going to be diving into the keys of consistency. And also, you have to keep in mind, right, that you guys also are going to get a lot of hacks that I'm going to share with you, how you can make sure that you're staying on track with your Trello board, with your training, with all your information. So it's going to be a really great day. But if anyone is interested in joining the Expert Foundations program, again, you guys have technically until Wednesday, right, to sign up. But if you want to take advantage and get that extra launch board that I mentioned, you guys can sign up today within the 24 hours, and then you can get that launch board additionally. And Terry, I see your question there. Do the original members have access to the bonuses? Yes, absolutely. So our founding members get everything, in the program, just again, as an extra thank you for everything that you guys have been doing. So if anyone, again, has any questions, please type in the group. Please, again, check out the Expert Foundations. Let us know if you have any questions. And even tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll do a little screen share so you guys can see a little bit of the behind the scenes and what the program actually looks like. But again, just going back to foundations, I literally wanted to build out something that was plug and play, that was useful for you guys, that you were going to be able to tangibly, right, plug in the templates, the different resources directly into your business so that you could get all of that done in your business quickly. All right. So I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.